Fuck around and see it, cause you know I'm gonna go. Yeah.
Web3 Breakfast, serving size like Texas. I'm a beast, yeah, baby. You know I'm reckless. We stacking blue chips, my people by the dip. Matte Black Lambo coming soon. Don't forget, sign the check.
Web3 Breakfast. Fuck a Lexus, push a Maserati, keep a diamond Jesus on my necklace. I'm living reckless. Fuck a job, cash the check, grab the bag, hit the flight, we on the next one. Wife changing money, just ask my honey. Got a diamond on my face, I can't help it, I'm new money.
Web3 Breakfast, wake and bake, appreciate the checklist, moderate the stage, perplexing everything you say, and not to mention, I think I rugged. Maybe I should shrug it off, go touch some grass, perhaps some plug.
Web3 Breakfast,
Web3 Breakfast.
Web3 Breakfast.
Boom. Happy Monday. GM fam, welcome back to Web3 Breakfast.
What a weekend.
Thought you were going to bark like a dog. Oh. Where my dog's at?
Oh, man. Where the dogs at? Man, you know what? It's almost football season, Jay. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I start hearing dogs barking. You start seeing the balls getting tossed around, bro. Football season is about to be upon us.
Let's take a look at that really quick, because you guys know that I love to Google stuff when let's see. Football camp, NFL football camp. When does that start? That training camp starts. Come on.
Now, you know, I usually don't get too excited about baseball, and I see Craig up here, and I just got to say that honestly, Craig, I do apologize. I don't want to get you too fired up before you go to bed. But, man, you know, being a Cincinnati Reds fan, bro, we have had some rough seasons, and we finally have a team, Cincinnati, you know, so now all of a sudden everybody in Ohio is a Reds fan now. So that's pretty exciting.
Okay. So just so you know, the Cincinnati Bengals and the Chicago Bears both start training camp for the rookies on the 22nd of this month, with the veterans reporting on the 25th. What are the teams?
Let's go. I'm not a big NFL fan as much anymore. I'm a big college fan. So we'll probably definitely go to the Chick-fil-A game, because I always get like availability for tickets, and it's right there in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. And so I don't care who's playing, man. Like if we get the opportunity, we definitely gonna be going to that.
Yeah, dude, that's a fun game. It's at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. That's a great time. Always fun to see an event down there. You know what's funny? So you know we used to go to the suite over at the stadium there for not concerts were obviously amazing, but for the Falcons games, and then for FC United, Atlanta United, or whatever the soccer team is, the stadium is 1,000 times more electric for the soccer games than they are for the Falcons. It's crazy. And there's this section of fans. Damn. There's a section of fans. They stand up and they yell, and they got the flags, and they scream and do the cheers. And there's like a 5 or something year waiting list to get into that section. That was nuts. So that like blew my mind. That the atmosphere was way more electric for soccer than it was for football. But I get it. You know?
Really?
No, I don't get it.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. Well, so first off, there are less people, right? So football does like get the whole stadium filled, and they do like close off the top section. So there are less people. So maybe it's just more condensed. And I don't know, man. To be honest with you, like I was a football player growing up. I honestly hated soccer. I thought it was, you know, they flop around and fall around on the ground and cry, even though like nobody touched them. So like, you know, being a combat sport like football, like where you actually run into people on purpose and you don't fall and cry every play, it just didn't hit right, you know. But that was just my personal opinion.
No, I feel that. I'm gonna tell you the one for me is hockey. I love, dude, the Columbus Blue Jackets games are nuts, man. Like there's nothing like it. They're firing a cannon in there. Like the people are just fired up, and it seems like, you know, like you think same kind of thing, man. Like even for the football games, like now there's nothing like going to the Horseshoe and seeing Ohio State game. I mean, that's like in the top 3 you know, most electric stadiums in the world, right? Mm-hmm. But like for a Bengals game, like bro, it ain't like the hockey games. You know, I think maybe there's a shift coming, you know what I'm saying? Maybe there's a a change across all all globes, right? We're talking a little bit about Sega today and some nostalgia. And so, maybe these changes, the cyclic events that you talk about, right? Things coming and going in and out.
Yeah. Well, it is interesting. I like that you mentioned hockey. There is, to me, that's probably one of the coolest sports to go see live. Is a hockey game. Craig, GM, man, let me ask you. Besides, obviously, kangaroo fighting and some of the other crazy stuff that you guys do down there in Australia, that was a joke, but obviously you've got baseball. What are some of the other bigger sports that you got? Rugby, right? Rugby is a big Australian sport.
So our biggest sport, firstly, good morning, everybody. Good evening, actually. Good evening.
Good evening.
But our number one sport in Australia is Australian rules football, which is just another sport in itself, right? And if you haven't seen it, get onto YouTube and, search for things like Australian rules football biggest hits or highlights. It's mind-blowing. Like, I played it myself from the age of 5 to 45, and it's just a brutal sport, right? It's if you imagine rugby, soccer, and NFL all wound together, that's what it is. But we don't wear padding. It's full contact, no padding. It's just a brutal sport. I've had 8 surgeries myself, 3 knee reconstructions, a shoulder reconstruction, 2 ankle reconstructions. It's just a brutal sport, right?
So what do you think of the flopping? What do you think of the flop? What do you think of the flopping in soccer, then?
Well, we have soccer here, so soccer's quite large here as well, and it's pussy, right? They're just like I'm a full contact sports person, right? So and I'll give you a scenario. Like, look at baseball, right? Baseball is my second biggest passion, right? I love baseball, Australian baseball. I love, the major league, everything. But have a look at Aaron Judge, right? He sprains a toe 3 weeks ago, and he's going to be out for 8 weeks with a sprained toe. Jeez. We've got guys playing Australian rules football here every week. They take the field with 3 broken ribs the week before, a concussion the week before. One guy had ankle surgery last Thursday and played today, right? So it's just like, it's a completely different hybrid of sport, right? So I don't know how you can sprain a toe in a non-contact sport. And, with medicine today, cortisone injections, and I know I've had plenty of those in my time, and I know they're not good for you, but if you have 1 or 2 of them over an 8-week period, it's not going to kill you, right? It's not going to make your toe fall off. But come on, that's just pussy to me.
Hey, no, I feel you. Do you guys have hockey? Do you have hockey in Australia, or is that just a waste of trying to refrigerate the ice?
Well, we have an ice hockey league, but it's nothing. Like, you'd be lucky to get 50 people turn up to watch a game. There's probably only, a dozen teams. It's not a national league. It's just localized leagues. We have outdoor hockey. Like, normal outdoor hockey is massive in Australia. Like, we've been, Olympic champions. I don't know. We were Olympic champions for 16 years straight in outdoor hockey. 4 consecutive Olympics. Australia were the gold medalists. But so outdoor hockey we excel, but ice hockey is just it's very minimal. Like, we have an NFL type league here as well, like gridiron they call it here, where they wear padding and stuff. But it's not televised. It's got no marketing. It's similar to baseball in Australia, right? So baseball in Australia is a national sport. There's representations in 6 states around Australia, and they travel every week to play each other across the country. But they get 1,500, 2,000 people to a game. It's not broadcast on television, so there's no media revenue or advertising revenue or anything like that. So it's pretty much a self-funded sport by people attending tickets and local government sponsorship. And I'll give you an example. Luke Hughes, who was the captain of the team that I was CEO of here, the Perth Heat, he's a former Minnesota Twins, Oakland Athletic starter. He played 176 games for Minnesota and 80 odd for Oakland Athletic. So he's a major leaguer. He's the highest paid player in the game here in Australia, and he gets $5,000 a year.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's minimal. But Australian rules football, right? So if you're an Australian rules footballer here, you'll get paid if you're one of the best. So our best player in the game gets $1.5 million a year, plus whatever he gets in endorsements. But to actually play the game from the Australian Football League, he'll earn $1.5 million a year. But you got to remember also that our Australian rules football teams have a squad of 42, and they have a salary cap of $52 million. So they've got to pay all 42 players within $52 million. That's the salary cap.
That's really interesting, right? Because obviously we see the insane contracts that some of the guys here in pro sports in the United States make that doesn't, I don't know. I mean, it is a game, and some of them do put their bodies on the line and stuff, but some of these salaries are just contracts are just insane.
I think you guys know that, one of my really close friends from Perth here who played in the Perth Heat team is Liam Hendricks, who is the starting or closing pitcher for the White Sox. He signed a 5-year contract for $57 million with a 3-year option, right? So he's getting, I think it was $11.8 million per year to play baseball. Now, if he was playing here in Australia, he'd be making $5,000 a year, right? So it's just ridiculous. And that's the difference. But the other thing you have to look at too is you've got 500 million population. We've got 25 million. So we don't have the capacity to fund sports the way you guys do. We only have 6 teams in baseball and no television rights. But you guys have got television coverage. So I think Major League Baseball generate, $40 billion a year just from TV revenue. They generate $100 billion a year from merchandise and products, globally. So, it's just a completely different ball game when you talk US sports and population to Australian sports,
Well, I'm really interested to see, and Turbo, you're very, very patient with your hand up, so we'll get to you in 1 second. I'm really interested to see what's going to happen over the next couple of years, right? Like we just saw, I think the PGA partnered up with Live Golf, which was owned, I believe, by a company in Dubai or somewhere over in the Middle East, somewhere in the UAE, I think. And then I think there's interest in them buying some of the other leagues here in the United States, which that could be really interesting over the next several years to see what happens if that actually transpires.
I agree. Major League Baseball bought the Australian Baseball League, right? So when I was the CEO, Major League Baseball took ownership of the Australian Baseball League, and they invested $5 million per year for 5 years. So their investment in the league was $25 million. But the plan was that they would invest in the league for 5 years to prop the league up, to build it to a sustainable competition, and then they would walk away and leave it in Australian hands to self-sustain. Well, anyway, the CEO we had and the chairman of the Australian Baseball League globally, National Australian Baseball League, they didn't use the funds accordingly. They didn't do it properly. They didn't do the right marketing. They didn't do the right media in terms of television coverage. And when Major League Baseball walked away, there was nothing, right? They hadn't set it up to be sustainable. And Major League Baseball said, well, we're not going to give you another $25 million because you screwed over that 25. So we're walking away. So Australian baseball was left sort of, in the lurch with having to go back to the drawing board. And, so the teams are now all privatised where they were publicly owned before. So now they're all privately owned. Major players in Australia own those teams now, the 6 Australian Baseball League teams. But it's still the problem with sport, and it's globally. And this is I got a marketing degree in sports management, as you know, a business degree in sports management, and this is why I worked in the sporting industry for so long. The thing with sport is the foundation for sport to be success is media coverage, right? So, like the Australian Football League here get $350 million a year from Foxtel, which is, I don't know if you have Foxtel over there, but it's our version of paid pay-per-view television. So they get $350 million from Foxtel for the rights to televise the games. Before the season even starts, they've made $350 million profit, right? But no other sport in Australia gets the same level of funding for television coverage for anything. So, for sports to be sustainable around the world, it's got to be a media-based televised sport because that's where the money is.
I'll tell you what. That's where the money's at. It's in the attention, the eyeballs, and we're going to see, and it kind of makes a whole lot of sense too. I don't really want to transition yet into what we're going to talk about because I know we got to still, chop it up for a few more minutes and get through some stuff. But to segue, into the topic for today, talking about blockchain gaming. How is Web3 going to garner that attention? Because we all know that, attention is the new oil, the data is the new oil, all that kind of shit, right? And so with Web3 gaming, we say it almost, weekly. I'm assuming, if not almost daily, that gaming will be one of the fundamental pillars of how blockchain seeks that, the critical mass of mass adoption, whatever. And so, how is Web3 going to be able to make this happen and sustain that? Because you're seeing articles where, and most recently, we'll talk about this, is there's two articles that came out on the same day about Sega. One said play to earn gaming sucks and they're pulling out, and then the next one says that they've partnered with this other company to to launch some heavy IP shit. So really interesting, Craig, how what you just said, how we can translate that or transform that into the topic of the day. But Turbo, you had your hand up, and I don't want you to be in pain.
Oh man, no, I'm fine. It's got a little click and clack in there, but it should be fine. But no, as Craig was using the P word, and I'm not against it. It's just that my grandma could be watching on the stream now, so I don't want her to hear me say it. But I just you talk full contact sports, bro. I mean, like, do you think that there will ever be an opportunity in the future that we'll see gladiators again, like straight like hand-to-hand combat weapons all the way to the death? Like, do you think that could come back? Any chance?
I love your I don't even know what the word would be, but that's I don't know. I think we live in a society today now where we breed more P words than we breed more strong people, and society today is they're wrapped up in cotton wool and they're wrapped up in air bubbles, that don't you dare touch me, that sort of thing. And I know, because I've got three kids, in their 20s who have just come through all their teenage years and, playing in sport and stuff. And the biggest issue is that sexual harassment and sexual discrimination in sport is massive, right? So in Australia here, females can play Australian rules football with males in a mixed sport until the age of 11. 11 is when they consider, females start to go into puberty as a general. Some go earlier, some go later, but generally across the board, on average, it's around 11 they start to go into puberty. So the Australian Football League and the government here say once females start going into puberty, they shouldn't be playing in a mixed competition with boys, because if a boy accidentally tackles a girl in the game of Australian rules football and his hand touches her breast when she's in puberty and growing, that can be viewed as, a form of, the R word, or a form of, sexual abuse. And I'm thinking to myself, this is sport. If you don't want your kids getting touched, don't put them into the sport. But I understand where a line needs to be drawn in the sand. But yeah, we're just getting to that point where, society today are pussies.
I do not disagree with you.
Well, I think the issue is, when we really look at it, right, is that, like, what is there really to gain, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, if I don't have to, like, as a kid now, going into, like, the NFL, right? I think that we've put so much emphasis on gambling, and we've gotten away from, like, the team spirit, you know what I'm saying? And, like, really pulling for, for things that we believe in, right? Like, we see it in these NFT projects, you know what I'm saying? Like, people get excited, you know what I'm saying? They're like, yeah, we're part of the team, but the first time things don't go their way, they're off the team, right? So I think because we don't have that loyalty and, like, that strong sense of, like, we're a team, we're in this together across the board, that it's just making us soft, because why am I getting my head beat in when I'm not going to ever make it to the NFL? They don't understand just the love that goes into that. So, but I do see KT with his hand up, and Jay, go ahead, Greg.
One of the things is that, we've breeded a society over the last 10 years where it's no longer, when you're playing a competitive sport, it's no longer about winning or losing. It's about participation. You know, we're giving people who finish 20th position in a running race a participation award. It's no longer a benefit to win and come first, second, or third if you're still going to receive a trophy or a medal for finishing last. So we're breeding a society now that's accepting mediocrity, right? They're not accepting excellence. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we were gonna do it ended up raining here in the morning on the 4th of July, so we did not go do the little tot trot. But I did have a conversation with my daughter the night before, and I said, "Here's the deal, honey. If you don't finish, because it was one of those everybody gets a ribbon thing, and my wife was sitting there next to us, and I said I don't know if she understood me or not, but this is where we're getting started with this. And I said, honey, if you don't finish the race within a reasonable time, you will not accept a ribbon. And that's just like setting that thing. Because I grew up the same way, Craig. Like I grew up very competitive in sports, and there were winners and losers, and I strive to be a winner. And I worked very, very hard to always be on the all-star team, to always be on a winning team, to be, the best athlete and the best team member that I could be, right? Because when you play a sport, you are a team member and you win as a team. And that whole thing about winning and losing and accepting participation trophies, I never did that. We didn't have that. So I don't agree with that philosophy. I think that that if you do decide that sports are your thing, you have to understand the difference. Like we just can't play sports and accept the participation thing. And it is I know not to be an ass or draw that line in the sand or anything, but I have the same opinion as you, Craig. KT, you got your hand up.
No.
Go ahead, Turbo.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you guys. And I'm to build on something that Turbo said about the camaraderie and the teamwork. Digging a little personal. I mean, my son, he had some issues, and he needed that support from people, from other people, from a group. And when he got into high school, I signed him up for football. And I had spent the past 10 years saying there's not a snowball's chance in hell you're putting on a helmet. Not happening, because all the people getting, I saw the game where that guy got his neck broken and died. I'm like, absolutely not. The thing is that the team that he's on two different teams. He's on football and lacrosse. And the camaraderie and the emotional support simply by being on a team like that with solid coaching that are not just, okay, everybody go and do and run and whatever. They're like hardcore. They've won their district championships, the conference championships the past 2 years. And this year, his lacrosse team, for the first time, went undefeated all the way up to the state in his division. First time ever in school history. So absolute dedication to victory, but it's just like in the military. They're all worried, looking out for the man standing next to them, helping out, working together as a team. None of this, I'm awesome. Everybody working together. We've got a guy who broke the state record on most goals scored. And again, he had more assists than he did goals. So I completely agree. But back to what we said earlier, I want rollerball to come back. Old school 1970s rollerball.
All right.
Or roller derby. I'm sorry, roller derby.
Roller derby.
I want roller derby.
Okay.
I want derby back.
I was wondering. I was like, "What the hell is rollerball?"
It's a movie. It's
roller
it's
derby.
an evolution.
Let's get who cares about that movie? That movie probably sucks. Roller derby, on the other hand, that's where they went around like the ring, and like you'd have like the people that would just blast somebody, and like if you got knocked off your skates, you were done, right? The last skater like wins for the team. Yep. Is that how? Yes.
Yep.
Yes, I know
that
they do this. I don't know if it's everywhere, but I know that there was a roller derby league, and I think it was just women only in Austin, Texas, down in South Austin.
Same here.
Like we got to find it and see if there's a roller derby league around here. 7 and then Turbo. Next time you're in town, we got to go to that.
It's insane.
Yeah. Actually, I trained a couple. I trained a couple ladies that were in a roller derby league in Columbus, Georgia. And it is wild, man. Like they're riding around just like literally just like blasting each other's heads off. And completely off topic, but I must tell you, I'm not going to be able to do the workout this morning, okay. And this is why. So we have 2 kittens. So remember how I told you like I just let this like stray cat into my buddy's crib, And so what we didn't know is there was 2 kittens also that she has. And so she's been trying to get them to come in to play with me. And they won't because they're scared. So she's feeding them right now inside. So I can't move too much or I'll scare them. And I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry, bro. But this is like huge for me.
I don't know about this, man. Guys, that's a deal breaker, honestly. Like, you're going to allow a feeding cat to interrupt your workout? Like, we're talking about the P word, Craig.
You're fired.
Yeah. Oh, clearly. Hey, guys. I don't know if you're watching the live stream, but Turbo just got cut off the live stream. He's gone.
That's an article.
I'm thinking of furlough. Right here, furlough.
That's an article 15 there, buddy.
Yeah, hey, look, Ardo, you know what? Like, we bad company. I need an Article 15, and if I can get these kittens, because they are so freaking cute, man. If I could turn the camera, I'd show you, bro. I love kittens. I love cats. Like, I love all animals, man, and I just can't miss this opportunity. So,
we were thinking more like a cane corso as the bad company mascot. Not really a kitten.
Ardo, he's not allowed to make these decisions at all, and I'm embarrassed for him. The fact that he's not going to work out because there are kittens drinking from their mother's teat right there. Turbo, I'm gonna have to take the card.
Well, never mind, because no, they just ran away.
Okay, good. Good to work out. Great.
I got 2 yeah.
I'm excited for you.
Damn.
Jeez.
Man,
this shit is working out.
Dude, no, because the kittens they're really skittish, Carrie. Like, look, this cat, right? He's all white. He has 3 little dots in the middle of him, but his tail literally has a perfect circle where the tail connects at his butt, and his tail's just black. And his ears are like literally triangles, and they're only black. So it just looks like these like parts are connected on this kitten. I've been trying to get him, but that's all right. Enough about the cat talk. We're almost to the workout now, and my cats have ran off. I got some aggression to let off anyway now. Some disappointment.
On a good note, I have been cleared to work out. So
hey,
I'm
all right,
back in it.
That's great to hear.
Yeah, I'm back to 200 push-ups a day, 200 sit-ups a day, and then I'm back on the dumbbells, and so I'm excited to be able to get back to working out full time.
Are you doing like some regular PT?
No physical therapy. It's just all at home, and then just a lot of resistance stuff. So just natural resistance. No weights other than dumbbells.
Well, that's how we do it here. That's the Web3 Breakfast workout. Which Turbo, do you got music today?
Yes, I actually have one loaded up, right? Can you hear that?
Something by Cat Stevens, maybe.
Yeah, nice and
Oh yeah. Hey, let's go and get to it. No, it's got a nice little bop to it. You know what I mean? Look, we're getting the feeling right here. Okay, it's Monday morning. Get up.
Just to shoot my shit and then I reload. Mellow.
You want something heavier, Jay?
Reload. Jesus.
Come on.
Look at you.
Perfect.
Get the hell on.
And let's work out, guys.
Look at you. You can get the hell on. Hello. Just to shoot my shit and then I reload. Mellow. Call my vibe before you take a reload. Jesus. Look at you. You can get the hell on. Jesus. Look at you. You can get the hell on. I got the drip, Holy Ghost on my back, take that behind my back. I mean behind my jack. Know my word on my rack. People will go, but it ain't reach. If it ain't so, then it ain't shit. I got to glow, can we be? This is shit I feel like we don't understand. Pop a rubber band, pop your brother, man. Funny shit, we all kids from the motherland. So he's took my hand.
Let's go. Let's get them reps in. Good chance we got.
If you want so chillax.
We got 50 seconds. 50 seconds, guys. Come on, let's go. Get them last reps in. One more. Getting the vibe going.
Put more love on my brain. Hello. Mr. Shoot my shit and then I reload. Mellow. Call my vibe before you hike your relo. Jesus. Negative, you could get the hell on. Jesus. Negative, you could get the hell on. Hello. Just to shoot my shit and then I reload. Mellow. Call my vibe before you hike your relo. Jesus.
Out of the way, gang.
Negative, you could get the hell on.
Let's go ahead and get ready to bring it down.
Negative, you could get the hell on.
3, 2, and welcome back. That's a nice little bopper, right?
Yeah. What was that?
I like this. That's my homie I.O. Timmy. He has like a really melodic, very just super dope flow, man. Super positive, very holistic in his approach.
Yeah, that's good stuff, man. I'm it's like a little bit fashion like Kid Cudi. I like it.
Sorry,
I hit my microphone with the dumbbell.
That's funny.
Yeah, I hit my microphone with the dumbbell, and so now it's like broken. So just a second.
You'll be back. All right. Thank you guys for joining us for that first workout. I feel great. You know, these arm workouts I've been doing, I'm feeling them. I hope you guys are working out too in all these breaks that we do every day. We got to have those healthy minds, healthy bodies, and healthy portfolios, especially we get into this bull market, man. You know, it is rumbling. But before we get into our conversation today, I do want to get through just a couple things because it's been a while. Market sentiment over on NFTgo.io is at 22 today. That thing kind of bounced around. We were in the 30s, then 18, then 16, I think it was over the weekend. But now we're back up to 21. That's a refresh. But it says cold. Eesh. I don't like cold. What do you think about cold?
I hate being here. You know, like we just, it's going to be cold, right? Because there's just not enough hype in the market as a whole for us to get enough steam right now.
I'm glad
so,
you said
know,
that.
I mean, until like we start.
Look at this. Look at this mints. Now, like, okay, I don't know what any of these are, but Mindful Monks, Threads Elementals, you know, Damn Cats, Mint.fun.teams, Lido, Sweet, like, what the fuck are some of these collections that are coming out with? Like, there is nothing good but derivatives and bullshit.
Well, I mean, look at how low those 5-minute mint numbers are. 66, and for your number one collection right now, you're getting 66 mints in 5 minutes. Bro,
After 24 hours.
Hundreds.
Oh, I will say, did you guys see these Fat Zukis? Fat Zukis are very funny. It's just these Zukis, but they just look fat.
I did not see the Fat Zukis. Did you get any Fat Zukis?
No.
Be honest.
I did not. Let's see. Can we find it? Let's go look at one. View details. I don't know why it looks like that. This is the problem.
Maybe they haven't revealed yet.
No, I thought I'd seen. They'd probably just go on OpenSea.
Oh.
You know, I try to stay off of it, but I know there's other options, guys. Fat Zukis. The internet, of course, is going to.
Yeah, but you know, I mean, the
shit right now. Go ahead.
No, I mean, how OpenSea is. I mean, that's kind of the thing about it, though, right? Like, I mean, what are you really getting a Fat Zuki for?
Yeah.
I mean, are you going to use the IP? It's not going to do anything, right? Like, I mean, you know that out the gate. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's in the name. You know what I mean? What are you going to do? Join the Fat Zuki gang? No, it's funny. It's nostalgic. It's a collectible right now. You know what I'm saying? And so, no matter what, bro, there's going to come a time when people are like, oh, man, I got a real life Zuki, you know, from the 2021 era. They're going to be like, dude, I got a Fat Zuki. Like, no way. You got a Fat Zuki? Yeah, bro. They only made like 600 of these, completely made fun of the entire project.
You know, it's funny.
I mean,
just said there, like, I remember, like, I had gotten this is like when I had first, you know, because I was in coins for a while and I paid because my channel was like literally all about the metaverse. I didn't pay attention to NFTs really kind of in the beginning. And then I eventually had bought into a derivative and like I was so excited, right? Because it's just like, oh, it's just like the same thing as the real collection, but a fraction of the cost. And I was like really excited about it. And someone pointed out, like, what the fuck are you actually excited about? Like, you don't have the real one. It's like, okay, that's a good point. Like, you don't get the benefits of like, you got a derivative. Like, yeah, it might look cool and similar, but it's not the actual right one. And I was like, I was crushed. Like, I was like, oh, I made a bad decision. But
well, I mean, they're still going to be, dude. I mean, look at the knockoff paintings.
Dude, my internet at my house sucks.
You know,
thank God the stream didn't drop. Still loading. This page is still loading 10 minutes later.
It's probably draining your wallet right now.
No, I'm not connected.
And that's what they meant by the Fat Zukis. Was that?
I don't want you to connect.
But no, I was just saying, you know, fake paintings, bro. Like they're worth tons of money now. Some fake paintings are worth more than the original paintings now.
All right, it is what it is. All right, so we can't keep going through that because I was trying to pull something up. So we'll get through there. I do want to look at this. Finally, this morning, everything was red on 360 when I popped it up. So it is nice to see some green. Nice to see some coins in the green today. You know, you always like to see green on a Monday. You expect green on a Monday, red on a Friday. That's just kind of how it works, right? So we're back.
Well, how is USDC and USDT in the red and they're over $1?
So that usually happens when there's a reason for it, and it's like when it goes below, I think is a good thing. I don't know, somebody that can explain that. It has something to do with like, you know, how you sell off to get more Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever, and it's actually a good thing when it's not completely at $1. And I think it's when it's like even if it's at like 99 cents, that's usually a good thing for coins. You know, where if it was at $1.01, that would be a bad thing because there's more demand for the stable. Supply demand, right?
You can open a Japanese burger joint with Fatsuki. I just realized the IP is not worthless.
You can open a Japanese burger joint?
Yeah, Fatsuki's. I think it would be hit.
Yeah. I think that's a great idea, Kerry. We should.
I love that.
So, all right, let's start the burger joint now. I've always wanted a burger. I want a pizza restaurant and I want a burger place, but I want to do smash burgers. All right, let's talk about blockchain gaming. I know that's what people want to talk about, not smash burgers. We can talk about that later, because then I'm just going to get hungry.
Damn, I was hoping we were going to build a business, because, you know, as we make this shift real quick, because we do talk a lot about these DAOs and stuff, but literally that is the power of the blockchain. That's literally the power that we have. You know what I mean? And we don't do it. We got to start. We got to get serious on that, because I mean, as we talk about the power of the blockchain and these big companies that are coming in and stuff, the power is still here in us individuals. And even if they want to outprice us, we could still, through these DAOs, have an opportunity to pull our money together to still give ourselves a voice in these things that they try to make out of our reach. That is the power of the blockchain. And then Jay's supposed to jump in here and say something really dope. Like, oh yeah, man, for sure.
Oh, totally. Yeah, I was trying to pull the headphone cord around and I lost both my ears. So I don't even know what you said, but absolutely, man, couldn't agree with you more. I love everything that I just heard. It gets me super, super excited and amped for what we're going to experience, not only over the course of the next short period, but within this conversation as well. I think what you said speaks volumes, and I'm just excited.
Yeah, definitely. I was just, to paraphrase, I was just saying, that the power and everything we say about these DAOs, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, and that is the power of the blockchain, right? So even as people try to outprice us, right? Like big companies coming in, Sega, right? Like they want to come in, they don't want to come in, they're on the fence. If they get in, bro, that's going to be huge, monumental, for the space. We say that every time somebody big gets in. Atari got in, we're like, oh, it's going to be huge. One of these times it will be, right?
It's going to be the Sony.
Some barrier.
It has to be Sony. It's Sega to most people is probably forgotten about. That's long gone. It has to be the relevant. It has to be the Xbox or the PlayStation. That's just the way it's going to have to work.
Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic weren't we just talking about a Sega game? Do you remember we were talking about a Sega game, and we were gonna
Altered Beast. Yep.
I mean, come on.
I know. I'm with you. But the thing is, we were talking about a platform for, people of our age. Like Sega isn't a thing now, right? Sega's not really the platform choice of gamers these days. It's the PlayStations, the Xbox, or the little Nintendo thing that they've got. That's where the action needs to happen, or it's not going to be picked up. Craig, we'll go to Craig.
Well, that's a console.
It's all about
that's a console.
It's all about
Sega's making games now. And the Sega games have been played on Xbox and PlayStation. So we're looking at it more from a developer, not a console.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a different story.
Yes.
I like that. Craig, you got your hand up. What's up, sir?
I was just going to give you a few Web3 gaming, blockchain gaming statistics to get the conversation started. That's also,
love it.
I will just fire off a few little statistics. So as you know, obviously we are building a Web3 based game, which actually, so people know, our Steam account was officially approved on Friday. Our developers are starting the upload process to Steam for our game today. and that should take about 48 hours. Then we'll go into alpha test. Then we'll do a 2-day alpha test, 2-day beta test. Then we will open it up to the public. So hopefully by Friday or Saturday this week, our game will be open to the public on Steam. So super exciting times. But just a few quick statistics for you all to get this conversation started. Web3 gaming, actually, and these statistics are based from December 22, right? So they don't include the last 6 months, but Web3 gaming accounts for 49% of all blockchain activity, with an active 1.15 million daily unique active wallets being interacting with Web3 gaming, and 7.4 billion transactions per day. 47% of all people surveyed for PC and console games said that they were interested in expanding into the metaverse. Bots account for approximately 40% of the entire player base of Web3 gaming, which we can talk about that as well shortly. On average, I'll give you this other statistic first. So there is as of December 2022, there were 420 million dynamic gamers aged between 15 to 35, and 34% of those were based in India. $4 billion is the anticipated revenue for esports in the next 2 years, but $67 billion is the anticipated growth of all Web3 gaming by the end of 2027. And what else was I going to tell you here? On average, each gamer spends approximately $76 per month, which will equate to around $58,000 in their entire lifetime. What else was I going to say? Cybersecurity is the biggest challenge to all mainstream Web3 adoption for gaming. And again, we'll expand on all of these as we go. I just want to fire these statistics off at you quickly. Gaming accounts for 62% of all Web3 startup funding as of December 2022. What else was I going to tell you here? Global crypto ownership increased by 39% in 2022 to 425 million, rising from 306 million in January to 425 million by December. And gaming played the biggest role in bringing Web2 users into Web3 through the Web2 gaming companies getting involved: Ubisoft, Square Enix, and Animoca, plus Atari. There was one other thing I was going to tell you, which was a statistic, but I have forgotten it now. But yeah, some interesting stats. And I think the biggest issue is the cybersecurity thing, and we're dealing with that now with one of our partners that we're talking to at the moment in terms of age verification, on depending on the level of age verification for what game you're about to release. How do you secure a gaming platform with age verification to make sure that, and I'm going to use the pedophile word here, which is, make sure people like that aren't getting access to, children who are playing your gaming platform. And it's, one of the companies we're talking to, which is a major globally recognized Web2 based company, that was their first question that they asked us during the partnership discussions to build out Web3 gaming for them, was combating what's the process for MetaRides in combating cybersecurity with age verification. So it's an interesting topic of discussion, that is for sure. Yeah. And we're excited to be involved in the gaming side of things. I've spent the last month in a daily Web3 gaming voice chat. I don't call them spaces, but it's a Twitter space for LinkedIn. And I've spoken with the chief marketing officer of Unity. I've spoken with the executive director of Unreal Engine. I've spoken with several of the major players in the gaming sector through those LinkedIn spaces, and it's exciting, what they're building and what's happening. And I don't know if anybody knows, but NASCAR signed a Web3 gaming deal today to bring NASCAR into Web3. So it's getting to the point where a lot of these big Web2 companies and these globally recognized sporting organizations are going to progress into the esport arena. So it's very exciting.
Man, that's some big stuff. Now, do you have anything? I think we talked about this maybe a week or two ago when we were first talking about that stuff that you've got going on, Craig. Now, do you need to I don't know what would be the right word to be able to do this, where different parameters are set up based in different parts of the world? Is that something that you've got to deal with, where different jurisdictions and everything?
Yeah, you do, because and it depends on what you're providing, right? So, and I'll talk here from a metaverse gaming perspective, right? So, as opposed to just a Web3 blockchain game. So, if it's a metaverse-based game, it comes down to things like, in Australia, the legal age for gambling and drinking is 18, but in the United States, it's 21. So, if you're building a metaverse that is global and you're providing access to people in the United States and people in Australia to visit your metaverse, how do you structure your verification systems to ensure that, for example, and I'll use it as an example, say Playboy build the Playboy Mansion in a metaverse, and that's obviously got to be age restricted.
Mm-hmm.
Then how do you govern that when I can go into it at 18 in Australia, but you can't until you're 21 in the United States? So if you're going to make it a globally accessible metaverse, how do you set your age verification processes up to cover the legal requirements for different countries around the world? So it is a huge issue right now. Nobody has managed to get it right, or nobody has, that I know so far, has managed to finalize that, the conclusive way of doing it correctly. But it will get there. And it's, I don't know how it gets done because I'm not a developer. I'm not privy to building those side of things, but if we, as we progress with Better Eyes, if we're going to bring out different games that are age verified, then we're going to have that same issue, right? But I think the beauty for us is the discussions we're having right now with these Web2 companies are more children's based gaming, so it's more age verification for the younger age. So if, for example, if one age is 4 to 7 and then the next age is 8 to 12, that's relevant globally, right? So if you're 4 to 7, doesn't matter where you are in the world, you're 4 to 7. If you're 8 to 12, it doesn't matter where in the world you are. So for us, it's a little bit different because we don't have that adult theme involved in anything we're doing. We're not putting up alcohol advertising, we're not putting up cigarette advertising or anything like that. So we don't have that issue. But if we decide to do that, if Budweiser came to us tomorrow and said, we want advertising in your game, then we have to go down that path of age verification.
Yep. I will. I just want to make one clarification, and maybe it was, you were talking about the alcohol and stuff, and then we were also talking about Playboy. Unless something has changed here in the United States, you can see boobs at 18. The drinking is still 21. Now, I believe that's different in places like Canada, or excuse me, Wisconsin. I think if you are with your parents above the age of 18, and they say that you can have like a PBR or a beer or whatever with them, like you can have a beer with your parents in like a lodge in Wisconsin. And I think that's because of like all the hunting and snowmobiling and all the stuff that happens in the winter and stuff, or fishing trips. And I think that's literally like the only state here, unless I'm mistaken, the only state in the United States where that drinking age can be flexible a little bit if you are with your adult, with your parent or parent guardian, whatever. KT, you got your hand up.
So I think the stats that were just dropped made my head spin for a minute. The one thing I think the biggest thing that we need to overcome above and beyond this stuff is the Web3 itself. The concept of Web3 itself is really hard for people to understand, when in reality we're just adding some new technology to stuff that's already out there. In the conversations I've had, because we're building Web3 games as well, when you don't talk about all of the Web3 tech verbiage and acronyms and stuff, and you just talk about what it is and how it works, it's a lot easier for the non-crypto NFT crowd to understand.
Yeah.
So I think that's, while it's great to tout all of these cool new fancy things, if you make a new Porsche with some kind of newfangled whatchamathingy and you go to a car guy, they're not going to ask about that. They're just say, does it go faster? Yes, no. So all the marketing buzzwords, you need to tone that down a little bit. The other concern that I've got, though, is something that Turbo brought up, wrapped around the DAOs. We got to be careful with those. In the experience I've had with a lot of DAOs, when there's nobody in charge, the inmates run the asylum, and the bigger the DAO gets, the less productive it becomes. Because we were talking about all these new projects and everything, they're just late to the game, and they have global aspirations of success, but there's nobody at the helm pushing, saying, "Hey, what the heck? Why isn't this moving?" Because it becomes an accountability thing. And I've seen that a lot of the DAOs that I've been partially involved with, for whatever reason, all failed because there was no one person that says, "Okay, this is where the buck stops." It was a lot of groupthink, and it never pushed anywhere because nobody was pushing.
Yeah, I fully agree with you, KT. I think like kind of the whole structure organization of a DAO kind of needs a little bit more leadership, but then it kind of takes away the whole idea of the DAO. I do want to make sure we got my friends at Ethereum Towers here. I believe it's Shane behind the account there. Want to make sure that he gets in this conversation too. They are building out a metaverse, and it's like, honestly, it's for people just like me. It's for non-gamers, right? And we spoke about it a little bit last week, where I got my apartment, I got my NFT. I downloaded everything onto the Oculus over the weekend. I had every expectation of getting in to start to build a studio on Sunday, but my wife, I love you, we decided to clean the garage instead. And so that was a really good thing to do. I didn't get as much work done as I wanted to over the weekend, but today, as soon as we're done with the show, I plan to hop in there and start building my tower. But Shane, what's up, man? What do you think about all this blockchain gaming and where we're heading? And how do we solve the issue of bringing people in correct?
Yeah, it's a very important topic. As somebody that's been gaming for 30 years, there's so many misconceptions right now surrounding Web3 and NFTs, etc., and how it can integrate into games. Let's take, for example, CSGO. CSGO has skins. They have virtually everything made up to be NFT ready. You can trade your skins. You can buy new skins off of a marketplace, you name it. The one thing that gamers just don't fully understand yet is, imagine a world where now you actually own that particular piece. There's no physical way of, CSGO banning you because you traded it. And if you actually look, I think it was probably about a week and a half ago, CSGO actually enacted a huge ban across multiple different accounts that equated to being like $20 million worth of banned accounts, because people were taking their CSGO skins, selling them, and then converting them into crypto. How messed up is that? You're able to acquire this amazing one-of-one piece, but now you can no longer extract that money out of their ecosystem. They force you to keep it in there. So as someone that has gamed, that has spent a lot of money on CSGO, Valorant, Fortnite, etc., Apex skins, feel disheartening to know that there's no chance that you'll ever be able to make your money back, especially when you're done playing the game. Let's say, for example, Fortnite. I haven't touched Fortnite in probably 3 years. However, I have an ungodly amount of money that I've put into that game. Probably an embarrassing amount of money. Yet I can't do anything with it, because if I ever try to sell my account because I no longer play it, it breaks their TOS. And at that point, that particular account gets banned, and they have hardware and IP bans set up in place that now my kid can no longer play. It's stuff like that that's really concerning. And if you zoom out to like a 50,000 foot level, a lot of gamers right now are super opposed to NFTs because they just think it's, pictures of monkeys, and that's their sheer idea behind it. And they refuse to even incorporate. If you look at somebody like Ubisoft, They tried doing it, immediately got hit with a whole bunch of, negative press, negative feedback, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Sega just tried. What ended up happening? Sure as shit, next thing you know, they got bombarded with a bunch of negative feedback, all because these gamers just refuse the idea that NFTs and like true ownership over a particular asset is a negative thing. So I think it's a lot more to do with education more than anything else. And in terms of like widespread adoption, we are still quite far away from it. It's going to take a major studio, and you mentioned like Sony or Microsoft. It's going to take like a Valve or Epic Games to step in and say like, this is the way of the future. Let me explain the exact reasons why it's so amazing. Valve is $1 billion+ at this point anyways, a month it feels like, because CSGO cases are now popping off all over again. It's going to take them to step in and say, here's the exact reason. If you're a gamer, this should be important to you. Like being able to trade your items freely, being able to extract that money out if, let's say, you do end up needing it or you no longer play the game and there's somebody else down the line that's interested in, that particular item. Stuff like that, it just needs to take place. And I think it was KT that said, like, we just need to get away from all the jargon and talk. I did a talk at NFT NYC, and I said the exact same thing. Like, coming from me with Ethereum Towers, but, in an ideal world, I'd love to go back and just call it, the Metaverse Towers or something along those lines, where you get rid of the jargon and people don't feel, I guess, scared or intimidated by the use of, jargon or those cliche or clicky words when it comes to Metaverse and Web3 gaming.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think the moment that we can just be playing a game and you don't worry about the wallet, you don't worry about all the other stuff, you just play the game and it's fun. That to me, is the biggest thing that I hear from people that do, like you said, that have gamed for years, and why I just don't understand, how the educational aspect hasn't gotten through yet, because we're a few years in now, and I know that it's still an early industry. But that has to just be the number one thing that goes into that conversation is, hey, listen, like, aren't you sick of not owning your own shit? Aren't you sick of like being stuck in this game? Or like, you put all your money into this game, but now you want to play this game, but you can't, you got to start all over. Like it just, I don't understand how it hasn't gotten through yet.
But the thing, Jay, about that is that there was never an expectation of ever getting the money back, right? Like, that's a new concept. You know what I'm saying? And two, we have a lot of people, non-gamers, who are upset that the gamers don't want to have value for their assets, right? That's not in their realm of reality. That's not why they're buying them. And so I think that plays kind of a big part. I think the shift will happen when the ability is there and someone sees a big purchase and they have that trust, because I mean, like, they were selling assets back like in RuneScape and all this stuff, and they've been burnt several times again and again. So that's kind of the 2 cents I wanted to throw in on that. But I know Final is probably losing his mind wanting to say something. We haven't got to talk to the commander in a minute. Commander Ardo.
Yeah, so no, that was awesome by the speaker behind Ethereum Towers. This is a multi-pronged issue. For one, he did state that it's going to take a major studio or a major corporation. We know from, what Jay Chains has told the audience, Microsoft is working on that. If you look back at the history of World of Warcraft, which is a product of Blizzard Entertainment, Blizzard is a massive studio. They have almost 10,000 employees, but there's still use out of assets in that game that are way back from vanilla WoW. Right? I mean, you're talking over 15 years ago, right? But we saw people get their accounts permanently banned from selling their in-game gold for cash, right? Selling assets in the game for cash. So we know Microsoft wants to shift to metaverse. What does that mean? Does it mean taking a product that already exists like World of Warcraft and actually allowing the users to have some sort of control over their assets monetarily wise? We don't know. But I can tell you, that would be a good start because of the size of the community. If it was something that Valorant did, which I had to talk directly with Leo Fahia about it, they don't have any intention to, but that's because of how profitable they are already with their World Series, right? So then, of course, there's Call of Duty with Activision, right? Activision Blizzard is one now. They had a merger. And so this is what Microsoft is trying to acquire as a whole. To what Ethereum Towers was saying, I'm really on standby with this because you're talking about the sway of gaming history if this goes through. And what does that mean, right? Obviously, the downside to that is Sony is the one that's fighting them. Even though Microsoft has offered to give them a 10-year license up front, they feel like the PlayStation is just not going to be able to fight the Xbox when it comes to the Call of Duty Bloodline and any other products. So what will we see? All I can tell you guys right now is that it will involve Web3. In what capacity? I don't know. But we know that Microsoft has unlimited funds and resources, and being able to take Activision's or Blizzard's products and incorporate Web3 into them would be massive because they're not starting from scratch. They have products that are already complete.
Yeah, and I mean, is that overreaching too? Like, I mean, like, is the government like overreaching in this case? I mean, like, we have video games at the Supreme Court level. Like, that's where we're at right now. Ethereum Towers, I think you were saying something.
This is beyond a Supreme Court thing. This is dealing with the what is it? Federal commodities or federal commissions deal. It's the UN's involved in this. It's the UK's involved in this. It's big because you're talking about the biggest gaming acquisition in history. It's nearly a $70 billion deal. And so Sony's thing is basically trying to tackle Microsoft's monopolization of gaming. Microsoft is looking at it from a standpoint of, well, we're still going to issue everyone the licenses that they need to continue making the products for their actual platform. However, we have an intention that is purely based on getting these products involved in metaverse, right? So instead of Microsoft starting from scratch, they want to acquire these big brands and their studios and start incorporating Web3 into the products they already have. Even if they started something from scratch, they have the liquidity and the resources to put up a game almost overnight.
Yeah. That to me is I think the acquisition model makes the most sense. That the game is built, with the backing, with the unlimited backing, but it is built by someone who understands blockchain technology a little bit better. Shane, I think you were going to say something a second ago, and then I want to get some hands. And I don't know between Beatskeet or Craig who was first. You guys can figure that out. But Shane, were you about to say something a second ago?
You know what? We already bypassed the point, but okay. I'm definitely on board. Like, obviously, if Microsoft goes through with the Activision Blizzard merger, and Activision Blizzard are not ideal companies, put it politely, but it is what it is. Let's answer questions.
Okay. Craig, go ahead.
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
My hand just disappeared for some reason without me pressing the button. But no, I wanted to say, one of the things that I've found doing, extensive research over the last, year and a half into gaming and being involved in those spaces. I don't know if people are aware, there's an organization in Saudi Arabia called Savvy Games, right? They've just invested $7 billion in 2022 alone into Web3 gaming platforms that are up and coming. Now, they did a survey earlier this year, and they surveyed over 100,000 Web2 gamers on transitioning into Web3. And the biggest pitfall that they came across was Web2 gamers aren't interested in cryptocurrency. They're not interested in blockchain. So how do we onboard those people into Web3? And one of the things we've done now with MetaRides, and this has come from these LinkedIn spaces I've been in with the Unity people and the Unreal Engine people and the guy, I think he's the MO of Savvy Games themselves. We're building into our platform now a non-custodial wallet. So when you come into the MetaRides racing game and you purchase something in the shop, it's held in a non-custodial wallet. So a Web2 gamer doesn't even know that they've just bought a Web3 based product that's now being held in a wallet for them. So the process then becomes our education to educate them people to say, hey, now all of those assets you own that you've purchased in the MetaRides racing shop, you can now take those because, as you know, we've successfully completed full interoperability between Unity and Unreal Engine. You can now take that asset outside of our game environment into a Unity or Unreal Engine metaverse and drive it around and have fun in those metaverses as well. So it's very cool what the developers are building for us, but all of it's come from being in these spaces and educating myself and doing the research on what Web2 gamers want. And as you saw from those statistics I read off earlier, we haven't even touched the tip of the iceberg yet. We're not even close to that. And as Shane said, we're 7 to 10 years away from anything close to mass adoption. We are a long way away from mass adoption. And every time the space gets hit like it has now in a bear market, it's pushing us a year back instead of driving us a year forward, right? Because people are leaving the space where people are losing interest in Web3 and blockchain and NFTs and all of the different things. And so it's an interesting journey that we're going to go on over the next 2 years with Web3 gaming, and as you saw from those statistics, it already makes up over 46% of all revenue generated in blockchain, right? It's not just, it's more than staking, it's more than, any coins, it's more than any shit coins, it's more than anything else. 46% of the entire blockchain revenue comes from gaming already. So it's going to be interesting over the next 2 years. But we're excited for what we're doing, and having that interoperability and the opportunity to bring some Web2 gamers into Web3 at some point.
Hell yeah. No, I'm definitely excited for that, and definitely excited to get going with you guys. What day do you say it was? The 14th?
No. So the developers will start uploading the game from today.
Okay.
So once they get that uploaded and it's ready to go, we will alpha test, and then we've got a select bunch of people who are going to beta test, and then we'll launch it to the public. So it'll probably be, within the next 7 to 10 days, it should be live to the public.
Hell yeah. Okay, cool. Awesome. Well, we will definitely be right there with you guys when all that happens. Super excited for the launch of that. I am 100% excited for what you guys are doing, not only with the game, but with the whole musician side thing. And I don't know, if that's going to be live when you guys launch or if that's a planned rollout, but just, supporting our Web3 musicians, man. I love that you guys are doing that.
It'll be live when it launches, but it'll be in a basic format. It'll be one radio station that has the music playing. Mm-hmm. And when we update the game to stage 2, where we'll add in new racetracks, different varieties, different environments, the shop, the marketplaces and all of that, the radio will go to genre-based radio stations. So you can pick country, you can pick hip-hop, you can pick whatever. But when it first drops this week, in the next 10 days, it'll be just a generic one station with about 100 NFT musician songs playing through on a loop. So it's pretty cool.
All right, let me ask you a question, Craig. Because Turbo 7 and I, we're discussing what the genre of our next song is going to be that we're going to do, and I think it's going to be along the lines of like a reggae country song. So when we do we apply for the country station or the reggae station?
So in our application process, we have a section where you pick your genre. So if you write your genre in as country reggae or reggae country, we will establish a reggae country genre. So everything we've done with the musicians has been what they want. Okay. Right? We haven't built anything based around what we want. So if for example, if Turbo put music out and said he wanted it to be country pop, then we will build a station based around country pop. Yeah.
Christ rap, right? Is Christ Gang?
Christ rap.
Christ Trap. It's Christ Trap is my brand.
Christ Trap.
And Jay, we are Christ Trap. Yeah, that's the type of music I make. And it's 10:10. We didn't even hit that workout. I mean 11.
11:10.
Oh damn,
Whoa.
Man,
well, where I'm at is 10:10.
make a wish.
Oh, that's right.
I know. See, fantastic. It's all coming true. My wish is for us to get to this workout, guys. What is it, so?
I said it was the reggae country song that jacked you all up.
Freaking ready.
You're like ready for that. You're like, yeah, I'm ready.
I'm getting Ari. That was my attempt at a country reggae term. Sorry, guys. Yep, forget that. All right, let's work out. And then Shane and Beasky, we'll get you guys hands in.
I thought that was amazing. All right, guys, get up out of your seat. Let's go. Time to work out.
Baby.
Jay, win Lambo.
Big fat karma the beast. Y'all won't like me when I'm mad. Y'all ain't
Get up, let's go.
Let's fucking go! Watch me run up the bag, doubling down in the bag. Got me bumping up. I'm at the mass. Took a 30K loss when Voyager rug. I am just trying to go get it all back. Dreaming of Lambos, I'm back on my gamble. I know that I'm about to go get it at last. Maybe Gallardos or Murcielagos. I don't know, I just know time to go fast. All in the cockpit, this spaceship is flawless. I get it regardless, you fuckers retarded. You testing my conscience, I'm finna go bonkers. Guess you all really want back, I'm back. Why you sending subliminals all on my genitals? Why is you not telling factual facts? Vertical doors got me focused on principles. Trust me, you do not want hope to go smash. One Lambo.
Hey, rookie moves. Let's go. Come on, get in workout then. Let's go. Let's go about 30 seconds. 30 seconds, guys. Come on.
One Lambo. This return to the DJ and I triple on weekends. Come get it, cause these fucking prices won't last. 500 a verse, 1,000 with hook. I'll really go in and I'll cook you some crack. Trapped out the bando, now setting example.
One more.
It's time to put in
One more.
music on smash.
Let's bring it down.
Devil, you not on my
3.
level, you bitches. You prove that you really won't last.
Man, welcome back. Man, how easy was that, huh? You know what I mean? Nice and easy. Getting them bodies in, guys. Welcome back to this Web3 Breakfast. We do this every Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern time. If you haven't done so yet, please reach down to the little purple pill down there. Click that, retweet it out, maybe invite some people. But we got some great people in the house. Great conversation. We got one more workout to go. Whew.
It was squats, man. I felt that in my knees.
Oof.
Your knees.
I know, man. Them joints, you gotta take. Don't be afraid to get some knee braces if they start to bother you too bad.
No, I'll just take supplements instead. Repair the cartilage versus coddle the destroyed cartilage.
It's a part of the repair process, because our bodies will naturally just repair. If we give good bracing, good support, it doesn't make you weak. Just like petting kittens, Jay, doesn't make you weak.
Yeah,
all
speak
right?
for yourself, sir. Let's take a vote on the stage. If you would rather pet kittens than work out, I'm just saying. Go ahead, Turbo.
Get him up. No, I was raising my hand. I was like letting everybody know, because now you're like over there bullying them down. You know what I'm saying? They're like, man, I want to say kitten so bad, but I can't. I don't want Jay to be mad at me.
I would never be mad. I'm never mad at anybody for anything like that. Shane, you did. You had your hand up before the break. What you got?
Yeah, I just wanted to touch on a few things that Craig kind of mentioned there. Number one, Web2 gamers have been using fake cryptocurrency for as long as I can remember. Let's say Roblox, or what are they? Robux. You have to buy Robux or Roblox digital currency in order to actually buy anything in game. Valorant, you need to buy Valorant points and Radiant points if you want to level up your guns. Fortnite, you need to buy what are they? V-Bucks in order to actually buy anything in their market. So it's once again, people just hear cryptocurrency and they just have negative connotations. So it's one of those weird, once again, education scenarios that just needs to take place. The other question that I actually had for Craig was, are you folks building anything in the Unreal Engine Fortnite? Because Fortnite has now been incentivizing people to get in there and build their own maps. All those probably in here know that Goblin Town developed Only Up, and I think that they've sold like 12 or 15,000 copies of it. However, somebody made a Only Up in Fortnite and is making $5 million a month based on 100,000 concurrent people playing that Only Up Fortnite map. So I'm very curious.
No, we haven't looked at it because of the poly counts. So our assets and what we're building is hyper realistic. So it's and the poly count for Fortnite is around half of what we're building in. So we haven't looked at Fortnite, we haven't looked at Sandbox, we haven't looked at Roblox or any of them because we want to keep the poly count to that hyper realistic full 3D graphic. So, and we're not saying that, that's not saying that in the future there won't be an opportunity to lower the poly count and drop some assets into those other games. But right now we're focused more on the hyper realistic, higher poly counts.
Let me ask
I'm
you.
right there with you. That's the reason why we developed our own metaverse as well. Well, I guess also because like Sandbox, you know, Roblox, all the other metaverses actually also have height restrictions. The Centraland, I think, actually has the tallest. You can go up like 36 stories, give or take, and ours is 102 stories. So it makes it a little bit difficult.
Yeah, we have the same issue.
Can I ask you guys a question that in either of you might know the answer to this, maybe you don't, but what would it take, or is it even possible for some of those, those traditional games that have that attention, right? If they say, you know what, maybe this NFT thing is the right move for us. Is the integration of NFTs into the already existing platform easy, or is that something where they'd have to just rebuild?
Well, that's something that one of the Web2 brands that we're talking to behind the scenes already have gaming out there. So they already have gaming on PlayStation. They already have gaming on Xbox. They have gaming on, a number of different platforms, but they don't have anything Web3 based in terms of Epic or Steam or, any of those non-console based games.
I mean, like Fortnite. Like say Fortnite wanted to switch over to Web3 and say, all right, you know what, you're right, these skins need to be NFT, so they're buy-in tradable. Like, is that something that switch can be flipped, or is that virtually impossible at this stage in the game?
Oh no, it would easily be developed. You could easily develop. You can turn any image into a 3D asset and sell it as a saleable asset. The problem they would have is they would probably need to build out an entire new ecosystem for those new assets to operate. I don't think they'd be able to do NFT-based assets and drop them into the existing Roblox, or you know what I mean? So it would need to be some sort of new ecosystem or a complete overhaul of their ecosystem to make it blockchain-based, right? Because as Shane was saying before, all of these platforms already have their own in-game currency, which is in essence a cryptocurrency when it's not, because it's not blockchain based, but it's still, in terms of what they're offering, it's still
the same.
It's still in, yeah, it is. But but Web2 gamers don't see it like that because it's not blockchain based, right? But how they would do that, I have no idea. I'm not a developer, but I would say it's integratable. But it would be quite a process and a costly exercise, I would think. Shane might know more with the metaverse side of it.
It definitely would be costly, but you need to understand, like, all the different assets are just sitting on, like, a database. So effectively what they need to do is just read the user's information. And once again, there's probably, 500 million unique users of Fortnite. Granted, probably, I would say 50% of them probably don't actually own any assets. They're just people that played the game a few times and quit, or somebody wanted to start all over and they quit, or whatever it ends up being. But yeah, they would just need to develop the tech that essentially scrapes all the users' information, develop each individual asset into an NFT with the different wearables that are associated back to each individual one, and then sell it. And I guess you also have like emotes, etc. But all of it, is it possible? Absolutely. Would it be easy? probably not. You'd have to do some sort of like combination of like Chainlink, where some things are going through Oracle to just like your normal on-chain assets. So, yeah.
Yeah, because you got to remember also, you know, if there, and I'll use an example, if say there was 300 million people in Fortnite that owned an asset, how do they create 300 million unique wallets and provide the, you know, the code for ownership of that wallet to 300 million users, right? That, what is it? The seed phrase. You know what I mean? How do you do that? So that's, and again, they'd probably do similar to what we're doing and make it non-custodial. So it's just an in-game wallet, but then you have to provide those details to the user if they want to take the asset outside of your game. And I would think Fortnite, Roblox, and these type of games, they wouldn't allow the assets to be interoperable anyway. They'd want them kept within their game ecosystem, and you can only access them when you log into the game, like, which is the opposite to us. We're providing you with the asset in a wallet that you can take wherever you want, you know?
It's tough to say. I guess whether or not they would want it interoperable, yeah. Who knows? Who knows what Fortnite's plan is? They invested heavy in the metaverse. And in my opinion, they actually have like one of the better metaverse experiences so far, just like in their little party world. And let's call a spade a spade. The best metaverse concerts thus far are the Fortnite concerts. So, yeah. Yeah.
I forget who, it was like Ariana Grande had the last one, right?
Ariana Grande, Travis Scott was another big one. Kid
Justin
Leroy.
Bieber's had one. Justin Bieber had one.
Marshmallow.
I think he was the first one. He was like their grand opening party, I think.
No, I think it was Marshmallow. I think Marshmallow was the very first one. Because like he was gaming with Ninja and whatever Ninja's little crew was, like Tim the Tatman, etc. And he blew up, and then he got his very own Fortnite skin. And I think that they made him the first big concert. So.
Interesting.
And one other thing, just quickly before KT, one other thing you have to think about when they do these integrations and things is the poly count, the pixelations. You know, so like for interoperability, the hyper realistic assets, if you take them into a lower poly count metaverse, they're not going to look the same. They're not going to operate the same. You know, the rigging and animation's not going to work the same. And if you bring a lower poly count from a Fortnite based graphic into, you know, a hyper realistic 3D metaverse, the assets aren't going to look the same, right? So there's interoperability's got to work based on the poly count, right? Otherwise, it's just going to look terrible. We had that experience very early on with what we were building at MetaRides when we dropped it into Income Island. You know, texturing wasn't right. You know, the graphics weren't right. The poly counts had to be adjusted and things like that. So it'd be a long process to get it right.
Yeah. And one other thing that you kind of mentioned there, which was like the non-custodial wallet. Like the MoonPays, the Papers, etc., are able to create those like en masse and just have it integrated into your email account, which you need to have in order to actually log into Epic, because that's your unique ID to begin with. So is it possible? Yes. Is it going to take a lot? Yes. Is it going to be expensive? Yes. So yeah, it can be done though. J-Chains is what I'm trying to get at.
Probably would be easier just to re-release a new version, or the next, like the V2 or whatever it ends up being. KT, what you got for us?
So this is an awesome conversation, and it's exactly right in our wheelhouse. Our Conquest game does this, where we ingest NFTs, use NFTs in game, and the thing we've discovered is that a pure blockchain play is very prohibitive. So it has to be a hybrid, where you have the NFT, you play with it, you do things. It's all database driven. And the blockchain interaction happens when you want to do something like an upgrade or an improvement. And to get that blockchain shift, like Fortnite, for instance, instead of just going and buying V-Bucks, you use a wallet and buy V-Bucks. So you swap that out, And the NFT aspect, the blockchain gaming aspect, the game itself is not live on the blockchain, but all of the assets are blockchain based, so that the gas to interact, to upgrade, to transfer, that happens outside actual gameplay, like in a lobby or in a shop or something like that. And at the end of gameplay, you finish a session, that blockchain update happens where your XP goes out there, or if you found a cool thing, it's transferred to your wallet. So a pure blockchain play, there's a couple of games I've seen where they're having a hard time with that because of the extensive gas fees wrapped around it, depending on the chain you're on. But if you have a hybrid where you have gameplay using the assets that have been ingested, and then you handle a blockchain-based activity in a lobby or a shop or something outside the actual game itself, very doable. We're doing it right now with our game that we're working on.
Heck yeah, nice, man. How I saw that you posted the other day that you hit a new milestone as far as active users. Congratulations on that.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, we hit 4,000 users, and we're already at almost 4,500. And it's just a straight Discord, a Discord-based RPG, but it's PvP, PvE, cross-server, cross-chain, quote-unquote Web3 enabled, with NFTs, and you can play with any NFT you want, and you can actually own. And this is actually, I'm not going to pitch, but this, I think, goes to where gamers are going to get interested, because when you have an NFT, if you're just a player character, it's not that big of a deal. It is, but it's like, okay, this is my character, blah, blah, blah. But we've added an additional aspect to that, where once you get to a specific level, your character, your NFT, now becomes a boss in the game that other people can attack. The battlefield where you're fighting is an NFT that the owner can upgrade and change dynamically on their own. So I think the key is, a lot of gamers love changing the games. Look at Roblox. They're building all kinds of awesome stuff. Look at the new Zelda game that was dropped. The insanity that people are building over there is just incalculable. And it's awesome. So what we're trying to do is give the owners the ability to modify the game on their own. So it's not dev-created games. It's user-created games, user-created content. And then there's a rev share aspect of that, which gives them a return on their efforts. The better they build, the more they get out of it. Kind of like what they're doing over in Fortnite, like was just talked about a second ago.
Oh, I like that. Congratulations on the 4K. Yeah, that's big time. Hey, I did just post up into the nest. Now, we were talking about this a little bit ago, kind of as a joke, but I did my research while we were chatting today. And the Atlanta Roller Derby, they've got a date on July 15th as well as August 12th. I have posted into the nest, so anybody in the Atlanta area want to go check out some roller derby, get at me, hit me up. Let me know if you want to go. Maybe we'll get a group to go. That could be fun. 7. I don't know what day works for you, either July or August. Turbo, see if you can come down here for either one. That'd be fun.
Maybe.
Let's do it.
You know, is that we got to see.
Did you say maybe?
Whatever we got to do.
Okay, well, no, you're not invited.
Yeah, because I think
7 and I are going to go see some roller derby.
Dude, damn.
Are you going to play, or are you just going to watch?
Well, so if you saw the screenshot, if you look up at the nest, the 3 things are July 15th, August 12th, or the Rec League Recruitment Day on August 21st. At this free event, you will learn introductory steps to the sport of roller derby and so much more. No experience is needed. So I wonder if you get a chance to get out there.
Let's go.
Maybe that's what we do. We should go watch one day.
I don't think I'm a strong enough skater to get out there and roller derby with anyone.
No, but we should go watch.
Yeah, and my wrists, I got these little tiny wrists right here.
He's got those they're kitty petting wrists, is what they are.
Every time he says,
I got these kitty petting wrists.
All I can think is Robin from from Teen Titans Go. That's all I think is baby hands. I don't know why.
What was it? Was it one of those Halloween movies or Scream or whatever, where Chris Elliott is like, take my strong hand. It's just like,
Oh my god, fucking! You're talking about Scary
Grab
Movie
my
2?
strong arm.
All
I'm
I'm
gonna
thinking
use
is
my
Deadpool
strong
when he gets.
hand.
I'm just thinking Deadpool when he gets his hands cut off. And I'm just gonna stop there.
I didn't
Oh, and he
see
gets the little baby hands.
I didn't see Deadpool.
Oh yeah. Oh, that shit's funny. Oh, that's pretty good. That was actually, you know what? I haven't seen many movies. It was actually pretty funny.
That may be the
you
one
know.
movie that you've seen that I haven't. We're not really movie guys.
That's probably it. Yeah, you know, I'll tell you, it is pretty cool though, getting to see movies at an old age that everybody's seen 1,000 times. It's your first time. It is a dope experience. You know what I mean? So that I'm gonna turn. That's my silver lining. And you know, Jay, it's Monday. You know, I got some motivation. I got a little mat set up so I could do some sit-ups. You know what I'm saying, and kind of get into my thoughts because we got healthy minds, healthy bodies, and healthy portfolios. So I do have that loaded up into the track. And so, guys, this is our final workout for today. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be a mental one. We'll be doing some sit-ups. If you want to get just lay down and stretch out, whatever that is, this is your opportunity. Healthy minds, healthy bodies.
Our
Healthy
bodies
portfolios.
may be limited, but it's our spirit that's unstoppable. When I let go of what I am, I become what I might be. The defiant human spirit remains steadfast. When you choose courage in the face of fear, you defy the things that hold you back from greatness.
I think that life is not about the amount of days that you live on this earth, but it's about what you fit into those days that allows you to live remarkable lives. Every one of us, every single day, is blessed with the air that we breathe, the opportunities that we have. And I challenge you every single day to get out of bed and do something that your future self will be proud of.
At some point, we all bought into this lie that you got to feel ready in order to change. We are not designed to do things that are uncomfortable or scary or difficult. And in order to change, in order to do all those things that you know you want to do with your life, with your work, with your dreams, you're going to have to do things that are difficult, uncertain, or scary. We want to change. We want to live a better life. The desire is there. Again, it's about how do you go from knowledge to action.
You and I are designed to be purpose-seeking mechanisms. When we're not, when we live in our comfort zone, we live a life of survival.
No matter how chaotic your vision, no matter how chaotic your life, don't ask yourself who you are today. Ask only, who do you want to become? And then are you willing to pay the price to get there? Take an action today or you never will.
Man, fantastic. Take action. Take action. And welcome back. Woo.
Woo.
That was a good one.
I did no sit-ups. I just actually sat there and relaxed and took in the words. That was good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What'd you take away? What was your takeaway?
Take action.
Yeah. Mine was definitely the whole thing about chaos and like, everybody around you thinking that what you're doing, doesn't make sense, or you know what I mean, like having this doubt in yourself. Just do it. Do it. How can you make that life incredible? Just go for it.
So let me ask you a question. So like while I was laying there, like one of the things that I was thinking about was, with games and this is, and this correlation that I made was thinking about last week, when I tried the Threads app, right? And it was no different. It was no different than Twitter. In fact, it was actually a more rudimentary version of Twitter. And so there was no upgrade. There was no advancement. And with that being said, obviously the clear advancement, I think only clear advancement that we're going to see from Web3 gaming is the integration of a crypto wallet, right? And then to be able to own your in-game assets. Is that enough? Is it where, typically like it has to be a disruptor in the industry, like the metaverse, right? You think about Ready Player One, you think of the haptic suits, you think about the experience that you get to go have. Like just playing with a controller or a keyboard is no different between what you can do now and what's coming. with the exception of, again, getting into the metaverse where now you could be fully immersive. You could, I was messing around with the Oculus this weekend, trying to get things loaded up, trying to do all these stupid updates, getting the Oculus account squared away, all that stuff, so that I can start building my my studio there in the apartment in Theory of Towers. And it made me start to think, like, one, the Oculus, it makes my face sweat, so we know that the hardware has to change, but is that truly what it needs to be? It has to be groundbreaking. It has to be revolutionary. It can't just be the same old shit that we're used to. It has to be something to level up. Is that what it's going to take for this gaming industry to see, the big mass adoption? Or is it just something that's fun and that's all that matters? As someone who is not a gamer, that's the question that I have for the gamer.
I just feel like Jay, that like when you're able, like if you think of the Ready Player One, right? Like they go in this,
you're rugged
tokens that they can use everywhere, right? Like it ain't only just to this one thing. They can. Any better?
Yes. No, I can hear you now.
Okay. So yeah. So essentially, just having the currency to be able to be used everywhere. That's going to be the biggest thing. If you're able to take your tokens and use them across the entire world, then that's where we're going to definitely be able to win.
So it's the interoperability. It's the ability to use your assets, use your funding source in a multiple ecosystems versus picking and choosing where you're going to be. Is that a fair assessment?
100%. 100% in my opinion.
Okay. KT, what you got?
To build on what you were saying, I think that if they try to go groundbreaking, earth-shattering, life-changing, I think it's going to fail. It has to be subtle. It has to be simple. It has to be easy. It's.
But
look at
video
what
games,
Apple and all these other things are doing.
But the games haven't changed. You're either a shooter game or a story game or a sport game, right? Like nothing's changed. Graphics,
yeah, but you don't have to change those. The game itself isn't what's going to change. It's the stuff it's the stuff on the other side, on the back end, that's changing. You go Web3, you're not changing what game you're playing. You're not changing Roblox. You're changing where the asset lives, who owns it, and what's happening with it. The game itself is going to stay the same.
Right, but isn't
it's
that
just
the problem?
where everything lives.
That's what I'm saying, though. That's the problem. Like, what's exciting? There's no different. Like, why would you? Because clearly the incentivization of owning your shit has not translated over, and so it's a game is a game, right? And so in order to truly pick people off and bring them into this ecosystem, it's got to wow somebody. And that's what, and listen, so, this is as I was thinking, as I was laying down while we were playing this other motivational thing. And so, again, like without making it like real sexy and fun, which we know, and I think that's the problem with most Web3 gaming, is that it's not fun, it's not sexy, it's just the very basic. And once we start to see more larger studios come out with things, maybe the offerings will be different and more exciting. But to me, it's like it just needs to transform the industry. Like, you got to take it to that next level, or who gives a shit?
So I don't think.
Well, I think that the AI. I think AI bots.
Go ahead,
Turbo.
I think that the AI. I think that the AI bots and stuff is what's going to be able to take gaming to another level when the AI and the logic are able to be working together, because logic isn't extremely difficult. And I think that would be something that would because yes, we do know that Maya, right? So most advanced yet acceptable, where there has to be a level of acceptance to what this thing is. But Jay, for sure, like there's nobody's getting excited about owning their own assets, which seems crazy to us, but we're not in their world, right? Just like they're not in our world. So that's not going to be the thing. Unless somebody's willing to pump a ton of money into buying assets to getting people to see it, to where they're like, oh shit, like I can make $5,000 if I earn up to this, then yeah, maybe, right? But unless someone's willing to just dump hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars into that pool to getting that pump going, then that ain't gonna be enough.
I think you're right. I think really quick, KT, and then go ahead. I think you're right. Something you had set there with the AI and the integration with that. I think we all saw that NVIDIA video several weeks ago, where the player goes into the ramen shop, and the guy behind the counter is what do you call them, NPCs? Like he's not a player of the game, has no outcome of anything. But now his conversation with you is based on AI. So whatever you say to this person, you get a response, not just, there's 10 pre-programmed responses. It's literally, AI that's going to have this whole interaction, and that, may further the outcome of your player character in this game or whatever. But that, to me, I think is something where, because everybody's fascinated with AI right now. Like, we start integrating a lot more AI into games, people are like, okay, this is different, because it's not just every time I play it, it's not the same, conversation that I'm having with this ramen shop guy. Go ahead, KT.
Yeah, so I think the one thing that is missing is a shown effect of what happens when a game collapses, and something you spend tons and tons of time and energy and money building yourself up. There was an open world RPG called Star Wars Galaxies back in the day, and it was great for what it was, and I had all kinds of tons of it. I would love to have a gallery of all of the cool stuff that I accumulated while I played that game. I can't. The game's dead. It's gone. I'll never see it again. Migrating over to blockchain prevents that problem, so that I'll always have the cool stuff, even if the game tanks. But we haven't had any big games like that where you can have a gallery to show off fail in quite some time. So we haven't had a ton of people saying, all my crap's gone. I lost, 5 years of gaming. My castle is awesome and it's all gone. I can't show it off anymore because the game failed. I think once that happens, and it doesn't even have to be a massive game, but just something that has a decent player base or a couple of really big players who enjoy it, I'm not sure it's gonna really change things much. But I think that's one of the big takeaways, is that you never lose your stuff ever. That's I think the coolest part.
It's like concert tickets, all the other all the other collectibles that you'll be able to keep. Now, somebody had said to me, you don't actually get to save your digital concert tickets anymore. And I mean, to some extent they're right, but if you have an iPhone, if you put it into your wallet, I could go into my wallet right now and look at all the old concert tickets, the flights and all that kind of stuff. So you do have at least a repository of things that you could, until we figure out this fully on the blockchain, which we know it's coming. Go ahead, Shane.
I was just going to say, when it comes to like concert tickets, it's not necessarily the best reason why NFTs are amazing. So as many of you know, a couple of our advisors are actually the executives behind Tap Music, and they manage like Lana Del Rey and published Dua Lipa, and Dermot Kennedy, and Ellie Goulding, and a whole bunch of other ones. But they're in close with the Guts ticketing guys, which is like on-chain ticketing. And the number one reason why artists want on-chain ticketing is for scalping. Obviously, at the end of the day, right now, let's say, for example, Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift tickets are going for like $95K or whatever they're at right now, but it's silly. Taylor Swift gets a bunch of shit from it. She's sitting there getting abused by her own fans because bots are going into, the ticketing websites, buying up all the supplies and listing them on, scummy secondary websites. NFT ticketing allows you to actually build right into the smart contract that it can only be marked up a specific percentage. Maybe that percentage is 200% or something very similar to that. So versus it being $95,000, it's only $300 now. But they're able to limit that. On top of that as well, if let's say another mass pandemic happens and there's issues where concerts are being canceled, or maybe somebody's sick, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. If you bought your ticket off the secondary website, you're not seeing a cent of that back. It's going to the person that's the original purchaser of that ticket itself. And then if you look at something like the UEFA, I think it's UEFA soccer, where people are getting scammed out of tickets, and there's all sorts of issues and riots at sort of the exterior gates. You prevent that entire scenario taking place when it comes to blockchain ticketing. So when it comes to like concert tickets, sure, the collectible piece is amazing, but it is so far behind the scenes in comparison to other issues that artists face when it comes to ticketing solutions.
I gotta say, man, I know that you know a ton about ticketing, and that's probably something we could have another conversation on a whole nother day about. But I didn't know anything, like nothing about this Taylor Swift thing. You know, she doesn't hit on my radar as an artist. I've not looked for tickets. But while we were talking here, I just went on to StubHub just to see. You literally can't even get a nosebleed seat for cheaper than $1,700 a ticket. I'm so thankful that my daughter is not like of age and of a fan, because that would be disastrous to have to spend like $3,000 for 2 tickets to go see Taylor Swift right now.
And like the original tickets are still $95, which,
that's high.
Say what you will, she demands it. Let's put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
But having a $1,700 markup on it, or I guess 170% markup. That's crazy. It's just she's not happy about it. Obviously, Ticketmaster, the whole industry is actually pretty crooked, but that's neither here nor there. But Ticketmaster is not necessarily seeing any sort of kickback from it. It is quite literally the scammy bots and those secondary sites that sell it. But once again, with NFTs, it fixes a massive issue, which is scalping just in general. That's the reason why, like, everybody should be just begging for on-chain ticketing, not necessarily for the digital collectible piece of it, which is fantastic. And obviously, if you're also an artist, then you can actually build like token-gated websites that you could then sell, additional merch from, or if let's say you collect 10 of these particular tickets and you get into like another special area, etc. This is the reason why NFT ticketing should be the way of the future, but that's just me.
I'm absolutely there with you. And I think one of the most, the fascinating concepts that, that I can think of with all of this is, once the ticket, is on chain, right? And then it's all connected to your wallet. And so now your wallet understands your activity. It knows that you've downloaded all the songs. It knows that you've token gated into the Discord. It knows your rank on the Discord, all these kind of things. So now when you scan your ticket, you might have bought a GA ticket, right? And so now when you scan in, they're like, oh shit, we have one of our VIPs here. Like, this person literally participates so much in this ecosystem that you've just been instantly upgraded. Plus you get a meet and greet.
Yeah, well, and the other thing as well, like Ticketmaster doesn't actually provide any information to the artists themselves. Like, they have no idea who's actually buying the tickets themselves when it comes to artists. So imagine being able to sell out, let's say Taylor Swift, for example, 2 million plus tickets, but not receiving one piece of information in terms of who's actually buying these tickets, so that you don't know what your average age demographic is. You don't know where they're all traveling from, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Whereas NFT ticketing,
that's honestly like, and we talk about, being in this world of technology and data in 2023, to not have analytics. As a freaking Twitter Spaces host, I look at my analytics every day. I couldn't imagine running a international tour and not having analytics of who you have there. Because like, I get, you want to have the best sponsors, but, that would help you probably pick better sponsors that would give them a better ROI if you knew who the heck was. I mean, obviously Taylor Swift, probably a general idea of the demographic, but just in, for artists all over the world, I mean, that would be massively beneficial to just knowing who your audience is.
Yeah. But it's Ticketmaster. And
speaking of knowing who our audience is, I see Max coming up.
Hey, Max.
Good morning. Good morning. It's been a minute.
It sure has. I assume things in Canada are going well.
Things in Canada are going well. I mean, the weather is nice. I got a pool for my dogs, so they're having a blast, and been busy.
Have you consumed any pure maple yet?
That's nice.
I have. Oh my God. Okay, so I'm actually waiting for winter because apparently they put it on snow and you eat it. So I'm like, I'm gonna wait for that.
Carrie and Shane can chime in on this.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That only happens in Montreal, by the way.
No, it doesn't. It happens here too. Like, you get a stick and you dip it in snow and then you pour maple syrup, and it's like a natural hard rock candy
like
thing.
like a maple popsicle.
Yeah.
Wow. We got to get up
Yeah,
here.
I've had those two here.
I've done it.
See, it's a thing. I'm telling you, I'm gonna do it.
I didn't use
Not in
a
Western
stick
Canada,
like a
but-
damn savage, but
Well, what did you use then? I mean, I'm not gonna use my finger or my hand. Like, what am I supposed to use?
no, we just like
Educate
put
me.
some Suno into a bucket or tin and then pour syrup into it, and it's a tasty treat. But if the stick works, if the stick works, stick works. It seems like a little bit savage. That's all.
Could you get
But
like
you're a savage.
popsicle
That's
sticks
okay.
or like a cotton
Yeah,
candy
popsicle
thing?
sticks would work. I just pictured Max with like a stick that she found like on the ground.
Now, Max, let me ask you a question.
Same.
Would you pick the bark off of it, or would you leave the bark on?
Bark on.
Okay. Extra protein, extra grit, extra flavor.
She's definitely a bark on type of person for sure.
She's mad.
100%. That'd be
I
crazy
totally
though.
missed
You know,
that because I
like
was getting a phone call, so I don't even know what I'm supposed to use now. My finger?
you were using Max. You were using a stick with the bark on it still. So, but you know, like
That's
this.
not what I was supposed to do.
I think they were wanting you to maybe use like a popsicle stick. Carrie has suggested a bucket, which doesn't seem much more sanitary, in all honesty, just because I think of the buckets I have laying around. I don't know. They might have like maple syrup buckets that
no,
they
you
keep where they hang on
I
the
mean,
tree.
listen, I'm the youngest out of 6 kids. Trust me, I've eaten worse.
Oh, my funny kind of story about that really quick. My sister has 4 sons. And they were all like like between like 9 and 4. I don't know. I can't think of the age spread, but it's really not a big spread. And they were visiting us in Austin, and we were like out at Barton Springs, like, you know, swimming, having a good time outside. And the oldest brought out a bag of Big League Chew, and it was, you know, something that nostalgia from when I was a kid. I had a little pinch of it, and then they basically passed it down in age order. But my youngest nephew, the bag had fallen over, and what was left fell into the dirt. But he picked it up, didn't care, and put it in. He's like, I'm the youngest. Like, I get the dirt gum. Like, it doesn't matter to me. At least I got some gum. It's like, wow. Okay.
Yeah, 100%. I can.
That kid's
I can
gonna make
empathize
it.
that.
Yep.
He's definitely gonna make it, bro. Like if he's already getting at that age, good for him. And you know, like the thing I've been dying to tell you about this advertising for this game that I've been seeing. It's a mobile app game, and every time they lose, and I was so confused. I'm like, why do they always lose on this? But then I realized it's so that I'll see it and be like, oh, well, I could definitely beat this level, so I better download it. And I just thought that messaging was really slick, actually, you know, because it took me a second, and I think about all the you know, always trying to over approach me like, you don't want to get in blockchain, it's way too complicated for you. Like you'll never understand it, and just start going.
Well, they
that
did
way.
that with the .com boom as well, right? They were just like, "What's this internet thing? You don't want to do this. It's bad for you." And I mean, now look at it.
What's the best mobile version of any Web3 game we have? Is there anything? Because that may ultimately win the day, right? If you come out with a really badass mobile game.
Dead Blocks is on its way, right?
Undead Blocks.
I think they're the closest mobile game that Undead Blocks. It's not out yet, but I think they're doing a mobile game.
I don't remember. I think you're right though. Shane, do you know anything?
Dapper Dinos just released theirs. It's actually not half bad. It's like a platforming game.
What's it called? Dapper Dinos?
Yep.
Do you have to like diaper a dino?
Dapper, not diaper.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Diapering dinos, golly. That would be, you know what sucks? Honestly, that is the game that would cause mass adoption. It's just like the dumbest things. Like, I'll never understand is like someone who puts together sometimes some very well curated content that does dog shit, and then like I'll post a picture of a pizza that'll get like 40,000 views. Like, I don't understand how the internet works sometimes, but diapering dinos may be the one to bring in mass adoption.
I'm telling you, it's a thing. It's like the modern day Tamagotchi.
Interesting. All right, we'll have to check out the Dapper Dinos. It's a family-friendly brand. Okay, see, this is it. Like, we got to find things that will be all-inclusive for all the age groups, right? And I get everybody loves the shooter games, but that's going to do nothing for the younger generations. You know, it's we got to find something like this, and I think probably mobile-friendly is the key in, right? That's everybody's got a phone. Not everybody's got a computer. Any thoughts?
Agreed.
Thank you, Max. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I'm checking out this Dapper Dinos. This actually, I'm sorry, I was actually like in this in their website, man. This actually looks pretty cool. I'm gonna definitely take a look at it.
So, spoiler alert, you're not ciphering dinos, correct?
Nope.
Okay.
In fact, we can give you a little bit. Founded by cousins Rick and Chris, who are fathers to great kids and a couple cute dogs, with 40 years of experience working at Fortune 100 tech companies and major motion design studios, they are tech-inspired, game-playing, and crypto-loving dads who build dapper dinos for their families.
See, it's going to be a thing.
You did it to me. Their vision for Dapper Dinos is to create a Web3 brand that is approachable by all and fun for the whole family. They have dedicated their hard work and efforts to creating games and NFTs that are engaging, safe, and accessible for people of all ages and backgrounds. I like that. See, that's the kind of stuff that we need. We need to find more all-inclusive things for the kids and the families, so that everybody can get into this ecosystem together. Like that to me is something that excites me more than the next first-person shooter. But that's me, right?
Yeah, but that's because you've gone soft because of them.
What's that?
Look what Yuga did. Dookie Dash. Enough said. What the heck was that?
It was a copy and paste of some other game, right? Like something that had been out before.
It was like
Sewer Surfer.
I mean, there's a Unity game that's almost the same thing.
No, it was basically like a copy paste. You said Sewer
Yeah,
Surfer.
something like that, and it made $1 gazillion.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure that's the name of it. And you have to remember, you know, you were like trying to get a key out of a monkey's butthole. You know what I'm saying? Like that is, I'm telling you, that right there is groundbreaking.
I sold my I sold my pass. Like I didn't even fool around with that. I didn't play. I sold my pass and moved on.
I just think if we want to see where we're all going, just go watch the movie Idiocracy. That's probably got it nailed. It's got half the stuff right already.
Oh, that's already happening. We're already living Idiocracy.
Absolutely. Between Idiocracy, The Simpsons, and South Park, I think we've got the
And
rest
Black
of it
Mirror.
nailed.
And Black Mirror.
Yep, and Black Mirror.
Oh, that looks like it's got a
For
good
sure.
cast. Luke Wilson, Maya Rudolph, Terry Crews, Dax Shepard. I like that. I'm gonna have to check that out. If I find myself getting tired, I will put that movie on.
I'm just going to give you I'm going to give you a huge, do not have children anywhere near you or anybody that you want them to respect you later while watching this movie. It's a dire forecast of humanity, and I mean dire in the worst possible way. And they do not pull any punches. So
On
just
this idiosyncrasy or whatever.
Idiocracy. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
It's funny. It's funny, but it's sad because it's true, and you will see that change when you watch it. It's scary. It's scary of how true that is. It almost reminds you of like The Simpsons and their foreseeing the future, which has been proven not to really happen, by the way.
Unless you think that Matt Groening is part of the Illuminati, which I saw a post the other day saying that he is part of the Illuminati, so maybe he knows. Maybe he's from the future as well. There is a version of me floating around on this planet called Meta Chains from the future. Sometimes we get a visit, sometimes we don't. Turbo, you're quiet.
So now, Max.
What
Max is the... oh, sorry. I was just going to ask about the children being soft or something. Wait, no, that came out way, way wrong.
Nope.
Okay, you know what I mean?
Try that again. Carrie, try that again.
Okay. So earlier in the conversation, we were talking about sports and how it was the sports were causing the children to become weak because they were giving away awards. Because
we're living in a society where participation trophies exist.
So you think
So
the
you don't have to
games are also
actually-
making children weak and soft?
I mean, Harry, why are you putting me on the spot right now? I come here for the first time in forever to chill out with my
That's
friends.
why, Max. That's why you got to answer the hard questions.
That's why.
Where have you been? Where have you been? You know,
I've been busy. You know where I've been. I've been busy.
Up all night working. Yeah.
Exactly.
Burning the candle at both ends. That's what we do in the build markets, is that we build and we work, and we will see the fruits of those labors come to fruition, probably, the tail end of this year into next year, as the cycle and the attention in this ecosystem grows. Guys, thank you for joining us. This was a fun conversation about Web3 gaming and blockchain gaming. I know that we will have many more of these, so let's just keep learning. And we didn't even talk about the Sega thing all that much, which is okay. It was kind of an interesting perspective to hear. We don't like it, but we're going to partner with somebody to bring our IP into the Web3 world. But I appreciate you guys being here. This is probably, honestly, Turbo, if you think about it, one of the more civil, and I say civil as in not going off the rails, Monday shows that we've had in an extremely long time. American, you got your hand up before we shut this down for the day. What you got for us?
Real quick, sorry I joined late, just been a busy morning, but I wanted to say, speaking of blockchain gaming, tomorrow we have an exclusive AMA with the Casper blockchain. They're an enterprise blockchain. I know there's some fans here, and our very own Outmom is the host, so check us out. It's the pinned tweet on our profile here, but just wanted to give that out. And they're also very big into gaming, and they have some partnerships with Sony. Sony's big into gaming and the blockchain space, so definitely recommend it. Thank you.
Boom. Absolutely.
You're welcome.
Yo, most definitely. And Jay, I really felt like today was like we were a real morning show. Like we were all grown up. We didn't go off the rails. You know what I'm saying? Cursing was down. Craig dropped the P word a couple times. That's okay. He's from Australia, so that could
we allow that, especially in the context of talking about our snowflakes. Absolutely, we can use that word. I'm fully supportive of that. There's probably some other words we're going to try to buy back in the future that we can say freely.
Can I know what the P word is?
Yeah, you know what it is.
Is it meow?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. And really quick before we do shut this down, Max, you missed it. Turbo was moments, and I say moments away from missing the first workout of the show because there is a mama cat nursing her two baby cats in the same room, and he didn't want to disrupt that. So when we think about kitty cats, now we got to think about our friend Turbo here.
And Teats, don't forget.
I mean, in all honesty, when we think about kitty cats, I've always thought about Michael, so it's fine.
Yeah, see, I mean, that's the thing, Jay. You have to have a level of confidence. You gotta have a level of confidence to share the women's jeans and the cat petting and the women's glasses and the Crocs. Because who wants to get beat up with a guy? Like, dude, now there's like so many things. It could be like, yo, you got beat up by Turbo Mater? Yeah, dude, that dude pets cats and wears women's jeans. And you don't want that. I don't either.
Wait, you wear women's jeans?
Oh God, yeah, that's.
Don't forget the wax
sometimes.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that tomorrow. All right,
okay.
I love you guys. Have a wonderful freaking day. We'll be back here tomorrow for more Web3 Breakfast at 10 a.m. See you tomorrow. Go pet a cat.
Love.
Go pet a cat.
Oh my God.
Meow.
Start that one tomorrow. Stop meowing. What the hell?